Hi everyone, it is me, Laqwanda, and welcome to Laqwanda's Heart. I wanted to come in and do a series of videos. This week is mental illness awareness week, and so I wanted to touch bases again with you guys with regards to my mental health, where things are, and talk more about my diagnosis of bipolar disorder. I'm very open when it comes to my struggles and as it pertains to mental health. I've been hospitalized, I've been suicidal, I've been depressed, I've been in depressive episodes, manic episodes, I've experienced psychosis before. So just a lot of things when it comes to my mental health. My last hospitalization was in November of 2017. It was for suicidal ideation. I've probably been in the longest episode that I've ever been in my life over the past year or so. I have been in therapy for the past 10 months. I've had medication changes as a result of everything that's gone on over the past year. I want to talk about is just like the daily struggles that I have. My days are like anyone else's. You know, you get up, there's things that you need to do. You get them done, hopefully. When I am in the midst of an episode, it's different. So typically, my day starts by how my night went. And I mean that if I did not sleep that night before, my day is going to not go so well. And what that means is some days I realistically struggle to get out of the bed. I don't want to get up. I just want to lay there, which sounds typical for anyone. But it's just this heaviness that zaps everything out of me. And just the mere thought of standing, makes me want to cry. Makes me want to just go into these deep crying spells. What gets me up is that I have a dog and a cat, Bunny and Joshua. And so I get up and I feed Joshua, because I have to take Joshua outside. Some days taking Joshua outside is the only reason why I will walk out of my apartment. I would normally just be there all day, sometimes in the bed all day. And sometimes I'll eat, sometimes I won't. It really depends. But once I get the dog taken care of and I'm back in the house, that's where the major decisions come in. And those decisions are you going to take a bath today? And honestly, sometimes that answer is no. It can be days before I'll take a bath, or I feel like I have the strength to take a bath. I will put on clean clothes. And I will brush my teeth. It seems that once I brush my teeth, I get a little more energy about the day. And, I'll put on my eyeliner and grab some earrings. But it can be, sometimes at its worst, it's been up to a week since I've taken a bath. And this is me leaving the house. On days that I'm leaving the house and I just I won't bathe. And I come home and I still won't bathe, because there's something about that feels exhausting to me in that moment, and I hate it. And then it's in the morning, I generally don't eat at home. If I make it to work, and emphasis on if I make it to work, then in that space I try to say that's where I'll eat something, and try not have it be just junk food all day. because I will let that happen and I won't eat anything else when I get home. Going through work, and that's a whole nother video. Going through work, and I'll come home, and then decision number 2 comes into play. You know, are you going to eat dinner? And what has happened and what's worked for me has been aluminum foil and baked chicken. And so basically, like when I don't have a lot of energy, or even when I do, the thing that I go to now is getting a thing of aluminum foil and putting frozen chicken in it and throwing vegetables on top, seasoning it and wrapping it up and sticking it in the oven. It takes about 3 minutes to get all that together, and I don't have to wait I don't have to stand over the stove to cook. So that prevents me from wasting energy, and it allows me to mentally think that, okay, I can at least give myself 3 minutes to put this together and put that in the oven. Because literally some days that 3 minutes of energy is all I have. I have to take the dog out. So that's like probably my social interaction with other people for the day. And then I come back in. And I'm coming to my room. Luckily, I created my room to be an oasis for me. So when I'm here, it doesn't feel like I'm in a cave. It's filled of inspirational things for me. So although I'm putting myself in my room, in every way I turn, I feel comfortable and safe and nurtured. Even my chair, this was a Goodwill find. For those who follow me on Instagram, you know I am an avid thrift shopper, and I wanted this to be my meditation chair, which is also now my filming chair. But you know, having, you know, these spaces in here allows me to do certain things to where I don't feel completely isolated. But it's hard. Now the other side of that are the days where I don't sleep the night before, and I wake up and I have all the energy in the world. And having all of the energy in the world when you've been up for 20 hours, and then you're up for 24 hours, and then you're up for 36 hours, you know, it's like my decisions aren't always the best. I can, depending on the time of the month it is, I can blow through a lot of money really, really, really quickly on absolutely nothing. I have this thing about going. Like I can't see. Normally I'm either stuck in the house or I'm literally trying to find somewhere to go, but there's nowhere that I want to go that would satisfy that. So it's hopping on the internet and seeing who I can meet, things of that nature. So on those days, I have these brilliant ideas. You know, I think I want to conquer the world, and those are generally when I am starting to show signs of mania. Luckily, I have an awesome psychologist that I see every week, and he can generally by what I'm telling him, begin to tell that, okay, we need to start putting some of our tools, coping mechanisms and tools and plans into play here, because you're starting to get on that higher end, and we try our best to get ahead of it. But those are the days. Those are the days. Sleeping. I've always, since my first hospitalization, I had always had problems with sleep. And before my first hospitalization, I had problems with sleep. And I would just, I would be up like all night, and some nights I would be up and I would shake, and it seems like every couple of minutes I was shaking, and I don't know why I was shaking. And then next thing I know, it's 6 o'clock in the morning and I can't sleep. You know, I haven't slept all night, and then I'm getting up to go to work. I do wake up, but I have a plan now in place that where before I would just sit with my thoughts. Now I have a plan. If I wake up, you do this, you do this, you do this, you do this, and it helps me calm back down to go to sleep. Because not sleeping it can be so detrimental to my health. Recently I had to go to my doctor, you know, for a medication adjustment, and he was listening to me, and he's like, I'm not talking to you. He's like, we're gonna change your medication right now. You need to go home and go to sleep. Get this filled, go home, go to sleep. Come see me in 2 days. And he was so avid about me going home and sleeping and not doing anything else. And I probably slept more in that past 2 days than I had in probably about an entire week. Sleep, or the lack of sleep, affects me just that much, to where it is a complete disruption, and it becomes a major point of concern. A major point of concern for us. And I say us, and I mean myself and my team. But that's what happens when I'm in an episode. The PG version of what happens when I'm in an episode. Manic or depressed. Sometimes things get really dark. I have been suicidal at least 3 times this year. It's 2018, 3 times this year. I've been rolling in and out of depressive episodes all year. I was in the midst of beginning to start mania, but we were able to recognize it and start turning things, you know, putting things into play to turn it in another direction. So I didn't have a full-blown manic episode. But this stuff gets scary for me sometimes, because I get tired. I get really tired because sometimes I want my life to be normal, whatever that is. And for me, that would be not having to deal with this chronic health condition, you know. Wanting to feel safe in, okay, I have these thoughts, they're awesome thoughts, not that all of a sudden I'm going to become an instant genius because I am starting mania, you know, or wanting to have, just being comfortable with having a down day. Not comfortable, but not fearing that it's going to turn into a depressive episode. And I think that's the line that I get on sometimes, because I feel like, you know, I have these fears that my normal emotions, and I mean normal as in outside of when I'm dealing with symptoms of my condition, may lead to maybe a trigger for an episode. You know, when I feel sad for more than one day, you know, my heart starts racing. I was like, oh my gosh, this is mean I'm going in a depressive episode. And I have to have people say, Laqwanda, that's natural. That's a natural experience to have, you know, and bring me back down, and, you know, bring me back down and help me remember, okay, these are the things that normally happen when you're not feeling your best. But it can be frustrating. It can be so frustrating, and it can be so tiring. Especially like right now, where I am right now, when I've spent much of the year or the entire year. I spent this entire year focusing on my mental health. Every month of the year, in some way focusing on my mental health and well-being, to the point to where 1 minute I'm just seeing my therapist once a month, to going to seeing him twice a week, to going to seeing a doctor every single day in a week just to get through. It can be hard. It can be hard. And I get pissed off at times, because I have like these pity parties with myself where I was like, oh, you didn't ask for this. Oh, why are you having to deal with this? And I allow myself to be in that space. I allow myself to vent. And then when I come to my plateau, I get back on the horse and ride, because I'm like, I have a choice to do nothing, but doing nothing seems to be more painful than not trying to make this work. It is most definitely not a one-size-fits-all journey, but it is a journey indeed, and it is my life. It's not the entirety of my life. It probably makes up about 25% of my life. But the thing about it is, when this 25% isn't stabilized, it has the ability to destroy the other 75%. That's why so much of my energy goes here, to this little bitty space, because I've already experienced when this right here, when my condition isn't stable, it can rip me of everything that I've ever owned, that I ever had, and try to rip me of my existence and my life. But it's progress, and it's a journey, and it's a fight, and I'm okay with fighting. I'm okay with fighting, and I'm okay because not all of my days are bad days, and I'm not always in the episode. And I do have those moments where my day is just getting up, going to work, and going to see about my daughter with some school function. And I have those days where I'm laughing and I'm joking. But this year has just been a rough one for me when it comes to my mental health. I wish it wasn't that way, but we worked through this in the past, and we'll work through it now. So that's it for my daily struggles video. I am going to do other shorter videos about my experiences of how my disorder affects my relationships, work, and my support system, and any general stereotypes that I deal with. So stay tuned to Laqwanda's Heart. All right, you guys, follow me on Instagram at Laqwanda's Heart. And until next time, love you much.